This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on Prime Minister's Mann Ki Baat. The participants are Ashok Tandon, political analyst, and Vinay Kumar, journalist.
Addressing the nation on 82nd edition of Mann Ki Baat on Sunday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi dwelt upon a host of topics ranging from role of women police personnel to gender equality, United Nations Day, new drone policy, and lauded the role of health workers in achieving the target of 100 crore vaccine doses to fight COVID-19 pandemic. Prime Minister Modi spoke at length about the role which women police personnel have played, and they are being seen as inspiration for lakhs and lakhs of daughters of India. Similarly, he dwelt upon many other relevant topics. Mr. Tandon, if we see today's address of Mann Ki Baat this month, at a time when festival season is also approaching, Prime Minister also cautioned people to be aware of the fact that COVID-19 has not gone away and festivals should be celebrated, but with ample precautions. That was a very note of caution to the citizens. But at the same time, Prime Minister touched upon variety of topics in today's address. So if we look at the highlights, how can we describe today's edition of Mann Ki Baat?
There is one very remarkable thing about Prime Minister's Mann Ki Baat. In every Mann Ki Baat episode, he has always focused on certain vital issues, which he has been pursuing as sort of a national campaign. For instance, healthcare, Atmanirbhar Bharat, vocal for local, national unity, national security, India's role in the global community, and of course, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, which he has been in fact emphasizing. And then, as you also very rightly said, women empowerment, welfare of the farmers, and improvement in the agriculture sector through technological advancement, our scientific achievement, the role of our scientists. And then he never forgets in remembering and paying tribute to the great sons and daughters of India. There is always a mention of the forthcoming festival season in the coming month. So that way, if we look at it, he encompasses perhaps all the vital, important contemporary issues. As you also mentioned, in the Atmanirbhar Bharat context, he talked of the healthcare. And as we all know, he lauded the country's vaccination drive against coronavirus and said that the healthcare workers, they left no stone unturned to inoculate citizens. And he gave the credit to all the healthcare people, scientists who developed the vaccine, indigenous vaccine, and then the entire fraternity. He never took credit for all these things as far as his own government is concerned. And he said that people, when they see this achievement of vaccinating 100 crore, they will be feeling sort of sense of satisfaction for the entire country. So this was, as we all know, has been a huge achievement which has been noticed by the international community. International Monetary Fund has also appreciated India's vaccination drive. And that was, I think, the highlight of the Prime Minister's Mann Ki Baat today. A very important policy announcement which the Prime Minister announced today was the new drone policy. He said it is already showing great results. And one of the things that are capturing people's imagination is the usage of drone in India. Youngsters and the world of startups, they are very interested in this subject. See, the contribution of the drone in the coming years will not only from the point of view of India's security, mapping of India's rural area and all the fields under the sun, the drone is going to be very useful. And about the drone, he said that the government also has removed so many bottlenecks because there were so many rules and regulations which were hampering the growth and use of drones. And now all these rules and regulations have been liberalized, and there is a widespread use of drone at the moment, and the government also implementing this policy very effectively, and therefore the results of our drone policy, which are already visible, will be seen in a very great sense. The Army, Navy and Air Force have also placed orders worth more than 500 crores with the Indian drone company, and it is just the beginning. And he said, we will not stop. We have to become a leading country in drone technology. And for this, the Prime Minister said, the government is taking all possible steps, and he also urged the youth of the country to certainly think about taking advantage of the opportunities created after the drone policy which has come to the nation. So I think it was a huge policy announcement which the Prime Minister made today.
Mr. Nan, as you rightly said, that it is not only in security aspects, that security areas where drones are being used. As we all know, that United States has used drone to launch attacks on its adversaries in far-off territories, but also in rural and agricultural sector, where mapping of rural land holdings is taking place over the past 1 year or so. It was lesser known facts. But a state like Uttar Pradesh had launched this program, and because I had visited some of the districts where mapping through drones was being done. So indeed, it is a very laudable initiative. But at the same time, Prime Minister dwelt on gender equality also, this issue, when he said that the number of women police personnel has almost doubled in the past 7 years. And he quoted data from BPRND, Bureau of Police Research and Development, to show that the number of women police personnel in 2014 were close to 105,000, which are touching 215,000 in 2020. And similarly, in Central Armed Police Forces also, in 7 years, the number of women has doubled. In a country where generally it is seen that women are not encouraged to take up such tough duties, they are doing it with full force and zeal. Prime Minister also mentioned that these women are undergoing even jungle warfare commandos courses, will be then posted in the elite Cobra battalions of CRPF, and they are already guarding our metro network and airports through CISF. So it's a huge success in terms of numbers of women joining our forces.
Yes, in fact, the Prime Minister also spoke about the role which women have been playing. And he said that in 1947-48, when the Universal Declaration of UN Human Rights was being drafted, it was being inscribed in that declaration that all men are created equal. But a delegate from India objected to this. And then it was written in the Universal Declaration that all human beings are created equal. Now, this was in consonance with India's age-old tradition of gender equality. He said many people may not even know that Srimati Hansa Mehta was the delegate who raised this objection, because of whom this became possible. And he said at the same time, another delegate, Srimati Lakshmi Menon, had strongly put forth her views on the issue of gender equality. And not only this, in 1953, Srimati Vijay Lakshmi Pandit became the first woman president of the UN General Assembly. So therefore, India's tradition, culture, heritage of women equality, empowerment, has been the hallmark of our civilization. And in that context, he gave the figures of how many women are now joining the armed forces, in paramilitary forces, in central forces, in civil services. In every walk of life, now women are on the forefront as far as India is concerned. So very strong message as far as women empowerment is concerned was also one of the highlights of Mann Ki Baat today.
Another aspect which came as highlight of his Mann Ki Baat address was also the 3 competitions which Culture Ministry is going to launch on the role of songs and music in developing the inner self, then Rangoli competition and the Lori competition, which will be to coincide with the 75th anniversary celebrations of our independence, the Amrit Mahotsav, which the government has launched. And Prime Minister said that in the freedom struggle, so many songs and musical compositions and patriotic songs support in inspiring people across our country to participate in the freedom struggle. And similarly, our tradition of having rangolis and these lullabies which our mothers and grandmothers used to recite to children, Lori, that is also a great tradition. So revival of our tradition, particularly at the time when festivals are around the corner, there also Prime Minister said, reminded people of buying the stuff from local artisans, vocal for local. His mantra was very much there when he said that when we celebrate the festivals, we should also go for purchase local produce from our artisans. So that was also a message he gave to the people.
Prime Minister reminded the nation that 31st of October is the birth anniversary of Sardar Patel. And he said, on behalf of everybody, including himself, he said, I bow to the Lord Purush, the Iron Man. And that is why we celebrate 31st October as National Unity Day. And in that context, he was saying that it is our duty that we must associate ourselves with some activity that conveys the message of national unity. And it was in that context that he said people must have noticed that recently Gujarat police took out a bike rally from the Lakhpat Fort in Kutch to the Statue of Unity. To celebrate Unity Day, personnel of Tripura police are organizing a bike rally from Tripura to Statue of Unity. And this is connecting the country from east to west. Personnel of Jammu and Kashmir police too are giving this message of unity of the country by taking out a similar bike rally from Uri to Pathankot. He said, I salute all these Jawans. I have also come to know, Prime Minister said, of many sisters from Kupwara district of Jammu Kashmir itself. So in Kashmir, these sisters are working to make the tricolor for the army and government offices. Now this work is brimming with sentiment of patriotism. He said, I appreciate the spirit of this sister, and we all must do something for the unity of India, for the greatness of India, and that will feeling satisfied. So he said, Sardar Patel used to say, we can take our country to loftier heights only through our united effort. And if we don't have unity amongst ourselves, we will get entangled in ever new calamities. So this is why, this is with national unity that the nation has stature and has development. So we can learn a lot from the life and thoughts of Sardar Patel. And he said the Information and Broadcasting Ministry has recently published a pictorial biography of Sardar Sahib. And he said, I would want that all our young friends must read this. The youngster will get a chance to know Sardar Patel in an interesting way. So it was in that context of national unity that Prime Minister elaborated, as you also said, in talks of Rangoli and Lohri and all these things, particularly in the Amrit Mahotsav time. See, the color of art, culture, song, music must certainly be filled in Amrit Mahotsav. He said, I am getting several suggestions from people regarding Amrit Mahotsav and the strength of songs, music and art. So these suggestions are very valuable for him. And he said, I had sent them to the Culture Ministry for analysis. And he said, I am happy that in such a short time span, the ministry has taken up the suggestions very seriously and has also been working on it. One of the suggestions the Prime Minister said is of a competition on patriotic songs. So during the freedom struggle, patriotic songs and devotional songs and music in different languages, dialects, had united the entire country. Now in this Amrit Kal, the Prime Minister said, our young people can instill this event with energy by writing such patriotic songs. These patriotic songs can be in the mother tongue of all the Indians and can be in national language and can be written in English also. But it is essential that these creations reflect the thought of New India. Inspired by the current success of the country, it should be such that fuels the country's resolve for the future. He said the Culture Ministry is geared to conduct a competition related to this from tehsil level to the national level. A great opportunity being given to the younger generation to associate themselves with the Indian culture, Indian art, and also the Indian tradition, which will lead to learning about India's unity.
As you rightly said, all-encompassing address, and let's hope that these ideas and his thoughts are taken forward and translated into action in the days and months to come. Thank you, Mr. Tandon, for this discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You are listening to a discussion on Prime Minister's Mann Ki Baat. The participants were Ashok Tandon, political analyst, and Vinay Kumar, journalist. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsttalks@gmail.com.